There are too many of them. What are we going to do?
So as most of you already know, a new structure deck has been added to Duel Links, and with it, Ancient Gears have been given a second chance at life. Honestly, I know it's only early stages, but I think Ancient Gears may have a chance competitively in Duel Links. Other than the Kawaki Mero matchup, which, to be fair, no one really has a good matchup against that, this deck is pretty good against just about everyone. I'm not saying this is the best deck in the game, but I think someone out there will be able to come up with some kind of Ancient Gear variant that can see tournament play. Alright, so let's get into the deck list. So this is going to be a bit weird compared to my normal videos, because the easiest way to describe how this deck works is to go through the spell and trap cards first. The first two cards I'm going to go through is Geartown and Ancient Gear Fortress. What Geartown does is it allows both players to normal summon Ancient Gear monsters for one less tribute. When it is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon one Ancient Gear monster from your hand, deck, or graveyard. So the main reason we use this card is not for its reducing tribute ability, it's mostly for the fact that when this card is destroyed, you can literally special summon your boss monster from anywhere. Ancient Gear Fortress is a continuous spell with the effect, during the turn they were normal or special summoned, your opponent cannot target Ancient Gear monsters you control with card effects, and they cannot be destroyed by card effects. Your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to the activation of Ancient Gear cards and effects. If this card is destroyed in the spell and trap card zone, you can special summon one Ancient Gear monster from your hand or graveyard. So quite clearly this card has two uses. The first is that similar to the previous card, if this card is destroyed, you can instantly summon your boss monster as long as you have it in your hand or in the graveyard. The second is that this card is insane at protecting your monsters. You know how everyone runs Paleozoic Canadias? Yeah, well this counters it. Since the easiest way to special summon your boss monster is to simply destroy these cards, your deck also runs Double Cyclone and Unending Nightmare. If you haven't seen Double Cyclone before, it's a quick play spell, which is relevant, that allows you to target one spell or trap card you control and one spell or trap card your opponent controls and destroy them. So obviously this is used on your continuous spell and your field spell, so that you can special summon your boss monster while simultaneously destroying your opponent's back row. Keep in mind, this is a quick play spell, so it can be used during your battle phase once your opponent has already used their back row to stop your other monsters, so you can get kind of a surprise attack in. Unending Nightmare is a continuous trap card that allows you to pay 1000 life points, then target one face-up spell or trap card on the field and destroy it. So this card is very good with the deck, because it can be used during any point, so it can be used during your turn, during your opponent's turn, during the battle phase, and it's not a once per turn effect, it can just be used whenever. And on top of it being able to destroy your things whenever, so you can special summon your monster whenever, it can also be used on your opponent's stuff, so if they have a field spell or if they have a DNA surgery, you can just remove them. Alright, now we'll talk about the actual monsters in the deck. Ancient Gear Reactor Dragon is the boss monster for your deck. It has 3000 attack and 3000 defense and comes with the effects. If this card was tribute summoned by tributing an Ancient Gear monster and attacks the defense position monster, inflict piercing damage to your opponent. If this card attacks, your opponent is unable to activate monster, spell, or trap card effects until the end of the damage step. At the end of the damage step, if this card attacked, you can destroy one spell or trap card on the field. This card also has another effect, but that effect requires a gadget monster, and you don't run any. Also, the first effect of this card is rarely used with this deck, since your aim is to special summon this card, not tribute summon it, although it is possible. The main reason you use this card is simply because, if it attacks, your opponent can't activate anything. So it just means you can swing into Man-Eater bugs, they just die before their flip effect goes off. You can swing into Winged Karibos, their effect doesn't activate. You can swing into Wall Disruptions, they can't use them. You can swing into Paleozoic Canadias, they can't flip your thing face down. Basically, this card can just be swung into anything. And on top of that, after the damage step, this card can then destroy a spell or trap card. So this could be one of your opponent's back row, or it can be one of your own spells, so you can special summon another monster. Ancient Gear Beast is a 2000 attack monster with the effect, cannot be special summoned. If this card attacks your opponent, cannot activate any spell or trap cards until the end of the damage step. Negate the effects of monsters destroyed by this card, including in the graveyard. So the reason you run this card is simply because you run Geartown. So if you have Geartown out, you can summon this card for basically free. It doesn't require any tributes at all. And its ability is actually pretty relevant, because just like your boss monster, this card can swing into just about anything and your opponent can't do anything about it. This card does have a weakness though, in that it does get affected by Karibos, so if your opponent has a Karibo in hand, it can be used against this card. Ancient Gear Wyvern is a level 4 monster with the effect, if this card is normal or special summoned, you can add one Ancient Gear card from your deck to your hand, except Ancient Gear Wyvern. Also, you cannot set cards for the rest of this turn. You can only use the effect of Ancient Gear Wyvern once per turn. If this card attacks, your opponent's monsters cannot activate their effects until the end of the damage step. So this is your search card for the deck. Generally it's used only to search for Ancient Gear Fortress or your boss monster, but it can also be used to search for your dog as well. Alright, so the last thing to talk about with this deck is the skill. So the skill I choose to run with this deck is Middle-Aged Mechs. What this does is activate the continuous spell Ancient Gear Castle at the beginning of your first turn. What Ancient Gear Castle does is all Ancient Gear monsters gain 300 attack. Each time a monster is normal, summoned or set, place one counter on this card. If you tribute summon an Ancient Gear monster face up, you can tribute this card instead, if the number of counters is equal to or greater than the number of tributes required. So first of all, right off the bat, 300 attack is actually pretty relevant, because it can push your boss monster over 3000 attack, meaning it can kill things like Blue Eyes or Maximus, and it can also push some of your smaller monsters up a little bit, so they can beat things like Kokai Meru or Knight. The secondary effect of this card does stack with Geartown in that it will only require one token to tribute summon your boss monster. But generally this card is only in here simply because if you are unable to special summon your boss monster, this can be just kind of a backup way of getting out your boss monster. This card can also be used with your beast to tribute summon that, and it can also be used with double Cyclone if you just need a card to destroy, so you can destroy some of your opponent's back row. Alright guys, that's basically it for the talking part of this video. The rest of this video will just be 5 gameplays showing this deck in action. If you liked the video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new around here, comment if you got any questions or feedback. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Also join my Discord.
Hey, big brother, can I watch SpongeBob?
Shut up, Mokuba. I'm busy flagging YouTube videos to compensate for the fact that I have an extremely small penis.
Oh,